Welcome back everyone to the second iteration of the most successful hockey teams not in the NHL, a series where I take a look around the world and see which teams have had the most success in terms of winning their league's championship. Now, if you guys haven't seen the first episode of the series, make sure to check it out in the description down below or on the screen right now in the top right hand corner. We focused mainly on North American leagues in the first episode, which include the AHL, ECHL, NCAA, and the CHL. While we still have a bunch of leagues to go over in North America, today's video is all about the most well-known European leagues. Fair warning, I'm going to 100% mispronounce multiple names and leagues in this video, so make sure to make fun of me in the comment section down below. Let's get started. Our first stop will be in Sweden with the SHL. 14 teams have been competing for the SHL title since the early 1920s, but they didn't have a physical trophy to compete for until 1926. Ironically enough, the SHL championship, known as the Lamott Trophy, was introduced by an American film director named Raoul Lamott. Lamott actually helped coach Team Sweden in their very first Olympic appearance in 1920, and is partially held responsible for introducing the sport of hockey to Sweden. The trophy now awarded to SHL teams is actually a copy, in part to it being stolen in the 1950s, which is still a mystery to this day. Mark that off as a future video as well. Now, if we are looking at the SHL team to have won the most titles in the league before the formation of the Swedish Hockey League, also known as Elitserien or the Swedish Elite League in 1975, then Djurgårdens IF would lead that category with a total of 16 titles. They won their first title in the introductory year of the Lamott Trophy in 1926, won 6 consecutive titles from 1958 to 63, and had their most recent SHL victory in 2001, part of a back-to-back run. One of the notable players a part of both the 2000 and 2001 championships, current Detroit Red Wings defenseman Nicholas Kronwall. However, if we are looking at most championships since the SHL's formation in 1975, then Farjestad BK would be at the top with 10, Djurgårdens and Brynäs would be tied in second with 6. Moving on from the SHL, we will move one tier below them and next visit Hockeyallsvenskan. The Tier 2 Swedish Hockey League has only been around since 2005, but it is constantly changing due to its format. Rather than playing a typical season, the entire league is played as a round-robin tournament where every team plays each other 4 times, and then multiple different playoff formats take place. The top 2 teams in Hockeyallsvenskan advance to the finals to play a best-of-5 series for the championship. Now, I looked through multiple websites and found the trophy for the Allsvenskan champion, but I'm still not 100% sure on the actual name of it. The best thing that I could find was the Svenska Spel Trophy, but if any Swede actually knows the correct name of it, feel free to post it down below. The winner of the Allsvenskan championship then has to play an additional series where they challenge the team that finished in last place of the SHL. If they are victorious, they move up to the SHL and the other team gets relegated to Allsvenskan. The loser in the Hockeyallsvenskan final faces the winner of a playoff, which consists of teams that finished 3rd through 8th in the standings, in a best-of-3 series where the winner from this stage gets to challenge the next to worst SHL team in a best-of-7 for their spot in the SHL. The 2 last place teams from Hockeyallsvenskan have to play in the Kvalserien qualification against 4 teams from the Tier 3 Swedish League to avoid relegation. Using the information that I had found on Elite Prospects, Leksand IF has finished first in Allsvenskan the most times since 2005, with a total of 5 times and 4 total championships well before 1975. They were only promoted though once, in 2015, and relegated 3 different times. Thanks to the comments section on the very first episode of this series, someone had suggested that I check out the Norwegian League for a team that has been nothing but dominant over the years. The Get-Liagen is the Tier 1 hockey league in Norway that was established all the way back in 1934 and currently consists of only 10 teams. The GET playoff format, known as the Norwegian Championship Playoffs, has the top 8 teams competing for what is known as Kongi Pokal, which when translated means the King's Trophy. It definitely isn't the most grand in size in relation to other trophies, but this cup is actually handed out to multiple sports teams in Norway in recognition of their success. In regards to hockey, Vålerenga Ishockey has been the franchise at the top of the GET, winning a total of 26 Norwegian championships. 3 times as many as the next closest team, their most recent coming in 2009. However, a new team is on the rise looking to establish themselves as a current dynasty in the GET. The Stavanger Oilers, who have only been around as a franchise for less than 20 years, have been running the GET since 2010, winning 7 of the past 9 championships, including 6 in a row from 2012 to 2017. So we've done the Swedes, the Norwegians, the Finns are up next. The Finnish Elite League, or Liiga, even though I still from time to time like to call it SM Liiga, is part of the big 3 leagues in Europe in regards to strongest competition, along with the SHL and the KHL, which we'll talk about in a little bit. No need to worry about teams playing each other in regards to relegation. Liiga is actually a closed league, which means that their board of directors gets the final say when it comes to this topic. 2 trophies are up for grabs in Liiga. The Harry Lindbladen Muistopalkinto, which when translated is literally the Larry Lindbladen Memorial Trophy for the regular season winner, and the Canada Malja, which when translated means Canada Bowl, for the Liiga playoff champion. Going back as far as 1976, TPS has won the most regular season titles with 13, even though they haven't finished at the top since 2004. TPS also has won the Liiga championship 10 times, which is tied for the most with Tappara. They, though, have won it more recently in 2017 as opposed to 2010. Karpat isn't far behind both of these teams as they have won 8 total championships with 3 in the past 6 seasons. If you are a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the next league is the one where your star first overall draft pick made his name. The National League in Switzerland has been around since the late 1930s and is one of the more popular leagues in all of Europe in relation to attendance numbers for games. The top 8 out of the 12 teams in the National League get to compete for the Swiss Champions Cup, while the bottom 4 get to deal with another relegation tournament, with the loser in the NL facing the winner of the Swiss League. With the soon-to-be crowned 110th winner of the NL, this championship goes all the way back to 1909, when there could be both winners of the Swiss National and International Series A leagues. However, like the GET, one team has remained dominant throughout the years in the NL. HC Davos. Home of former Ducks goaltender Jonas Hiller, HC Davos has won the Swiss Champions Cup 31 times. Other than 1940, when no winner was crowned, Davos have won 10 consecutive titles from 1938 to 48. They would not ever have a long stretch like this again throughout the history of the league, but the pattern shows them winning the cup at least every 2 to 3 years. SC Bern does come in second on the list with a total of 15 championships and did win in 2016 and 2017. In addition to the 31 cups held by HC Davos, they are also the host team to the Spangler Cup, the oldest known ice hockey tournament every year. Now, since they get to participate in the tourney, obviously they are going to be on the top of this list as well. However, they are sharing that crown with someone at the top. Both HC Davos and Team Canada have a total of 15 Spangler Cup victories, but Team Canada's record is much more impressive, going 15-10 rather than Davos's 15-25. Canada was the runner-up in this past tournament, with Kalpa Kuepo of the Liga being victorious. The Erste Bank Ice and Hockey Liga, or the EBEL, is the top tier hockey league in Austria. What's interesting about this league is that there are 2 specific titles of champions that are granted in this league dependent upon the origin of the 12 teams. For the teams that aren't based in Austria, they compete for the title of EBEL champion, while the Austrian teams compete for Austrian champion. Whatever the case may be, all teams are still competing to capture the Karl Nedwood Trophy, named after the former president of the Austrian League. Once again, like GET and the NL, one team is at the top with 30 total titles: ECKAC, or Klagenfurt Athletic Sports Club. This team was truly dominant in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, winning almost half their titles from 1964 to 1980. ECKAC has dropped off a bit since their last victory in 2013, but are looking to have another run at the championship this year. Weiner EV is second on the list with 17 victories, but unfortunately the franchise has no longer been active since 2000. Although they faced many hardships in the late 1990s, the German Professional League, or the DEL, is running very strong. The independently run league, first formed in 1994, now has 14 teams vying to become the DEL champions. Eisenbären Berlin has won the most DEL championships with a total of 7, most recently in 2012-13, but Adler Mannheim is not far behind with 6 for themselves. EHC Munich, which most of the guys who played the NHL games know them as the Red Bulls, are trying to go for their 4th straight Dell title this year after winning their first 3 championships in a row starting in 2016. 2 more leagues are going to be highlighted in this video, so we'll move on to the ELH, or the Czech Elite League, or Czech Extraliga. The top 6 teams that finish in the ELH get first round byes in their playoff format, while teams 7 to 10 play each other to see who will advance to the next round and join those 6. The bottom 4 play the typical relegation tournament against the Czech's first league. While there have been champions of the ELH since 1994, the league most recently unveiled a new trophy in 2013 to be granted to the winners. The old cup didn't have an official name other than Pohár Mistrů, Champions Cup, and was damaged twice in the celebrations when Paradubis was victorious in 2005 and 2010. The new cup is named the T.G. Masaryk Cup, after the first president of Czechoslovakia, who played a part in the development of hockey in the Czech Republic. Like many of the past leagues, the most successful franchise is still currently playing in that said league. However, that isn't the case here. VHK Vizedin, who are currently in the Tier 2 Czech League, have won the ELH championship 6 times in the late 90s and early 2000s, while also holding a record of 6-1 in the finals. Current teams still in the ELH who rank at the top include HC Sparta Praha with 4 victories and 12 total appearances, and HC Kometa Brno, who have won back-to-back Masaryk Cups.
Hey everyone, my name is Edward and I run the Hybrid Icing channel, and if you've made it this far into the video, give yourself a pat on the back and drop a like on this video because we obviously had to save the KHL, the Continental Hockey League, for last. Founded in 2008, the KHL is widely regarded as the most competitive hockey league in the world behind the NHL. For those players who struggled to crack NHL lineups or deem that their teams were misusing them, you can often find them joining a team in the KHL rather than returning to the NHL and vice versa. The 25 teams in the KHL do have a plethora of cups and championships to be competing for in this league. The Continental Cup is the KHL's version of the NHL's President's Trophy, which is awarded to the team that finished with the most points in the regular season. The past winners of the Continental Cup have unfortunately never been able to win the KHL championship in the same season, but the current record holders with 4 cups, CSKA Moscow, have a chance to do that this season. The Gagarin Cup, named after the first Russian astronaut in space, is awarded to the KHL playoff champion. The most recent winner, AK Bars Kazan, has won the most Gagarin Cups with 3 in 2009, 2010, and 2018. SKA St. Petersburg, Metallurg Magnitogorsk, and Dynamo Moscow are all tied with 2 cup victories each. And as the 2019 KHL playoffs are currently ongoing, SKA St. Petersburg is the only team still left out of these 4 that will have a chance to tie the record with 3 Gagarin Cups. The KHL also holds a special first game of every season, which includes the previous season's Gagarin Cup and Continental Cup winners. The team victorious takes home the opening cup. The Gagarin Cup winners hold a 8-2-1 record over the Continental Cup winners, with Dynamo Moscow appearing in the most games with 4, with the most opening cup wins with 3. The KHL did have a tournament for those teams that missed the playoffs called the Nadezhda Cup, or the Hope Cup, but there hasn't been a winner of the trophy since 2014 due to economic reasons and differing opinions on the importance of the tournament. Dynamo Riga and Avangard Omsk are the only 2 winners of the Nadezhda Cup. Now, it wouldn't be the KHL if it wasn't for some controversy that was brought to light in last year's playoffs. And many of you guys probably either saw this clip between the underdogs of the tourney, Severstal Sharapovets and SKA St. Petersburg, where the refs claimed they didn't have access to a camera angle to call the play offside. SKA is basically Putin's team and were able to bypass a lot of the league's set rules, and could basically build the best super team they could want because it was his election year. You guys probably saw this long tweet somewhere in 2018 which tells the whole story. All in all, you are never really sure what's going to happen in the KHL playoffs because it can be easily influenced very quickly.
So that'll do it for the second episode of our most successful non-NHL team series, and like I mentioned in the last part, we still have plenty more leagues to look at. Once again guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you want to see this series continue while we try to look at all the hockey leagues around the world, leave a comment down below for a league that I haven't done yet, so I don't forget to use them in the next video. Also, thanks in part to Hybrid Icing for helping me out in this video. Make sure to go check out his channel down below in the description as well. Drop him a sub, he definitely deserves it. So thank you guys, I'll see you next time. Peace.